Hey, it's Saul with another video. Today I'm going to do a recap of all that was revealed in the 8.2 Rise of Azshara preview hosted by Jeremy Fiesel. There's going to be a lot to cover even though we're just scratching the surface of what's to come, so I'm going to try to be as concise as possible, and there's the sponsors, they're awesome, and here we go. Let's start with the really heavy stuff first. There's going to be two new areas to explore, as you already know, Azshara and Mechagon. Both zones will be very progression heavy. In Mechagon, you'll be helping to restore buildings and make crazy gadgets with the friendly faction there. The gadgets will include mounts and consumables, but what I found really interesting are these customizable trinkets that you can slot with different affixes, sort of similar to engineering trinkets in Mist of Pandaria. And these punch cards are going to be found, I believe, throughout the zone as well as the dungeon. In Azshara, which I have a really hard time pronouncing, you'll be assisting anti-Naga factions as they resist the oppression from the evil-ish Queen Ashara. Here you're going to be assisted by one of 3 active bodyguard-like NPCs. You're going to level these people up, and as you're leveling them up daily, you're going to complete quest content with them as well. On top of that, within Azshara, every now and then a Naga champion is going to appear, and they may have, I guess, kind of a similar effect to a legion invasion or a faction assault, where they influence the area around them. So I guess these Naga champions are supposed to carry the same weight as us, the champions of the Horde or the Alliance. From the sounds of it, both of these questing areas are going to have a progression and a timeless isle kind of feel, because players are going to be chasing periodic rares as they spawn in either one of these zones, and they're also going to be working from a daily quest hub, which I find to be a very welcome return, as opposed to just blindly doing world quests and returning to a single NPC. Here you're picking up quests at the beginning of your day, you complete content, you do things, you farm for stuff, you come back, and then you go about your business. There's also going to be a new dungeon and raid, as you already know. They're going to open up at the start of Season 3, which is a number of weeks, not months, after 8.2 launches. Mechagon and the Eternal Palace will each have 8 bosses to contend with, and in Ashara's house, there is going to be 1 underwater boss. Get ready for that one. So far, it feels like this is going to be a much more meaty experience than the lead up to Season 2, if you recall that, and the Battle of Dazar'alor raid. Just think of it, like you have these progression paths between these 2 zones, and a lot of stuff to farm for between both of these. You have your bodyguards power up, you have these gadgets that you slowly progress towards making, these buildings to create, this campaign that leads up to the raid. So all this stuff sounds like really good filler as we wait for the raid and the dungeon to open, as opposed to just faction assaults and a front-loaded war campaign that we had in 8.1. But the other really meaty piece comes from the Heart of Azeroth changes, which is also being explained in a blog post. But I'm going to try to speak in simple terms. Here's basically what's going to happen. We're going to do some quests, and we get this UI. At the center there is a big slot, and surrounding it are little slots. Now, what fills these slots? What we're going to earn are essences that have both major and minor properties. The major property is an active ability that is only usable if you slot it into that big slot. The minor property is a passive, and it'll activate as long as you at least have it slotted somewhere. In 8.2, artifact power is going to serve the purpose of unlocking more of these slots, and presumably, probably nothing more. So here's where you can add in all those time gating jokes. Ha 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 ha. From the looks of it, there's only so many slots, but there are many more essences, so you'll be picking and choosing what's best for you. Also note that some of these essences are role specific. What has me really excited though is that these essences can be powered up based on the activities that you do. So maybe one essence is powered from PvP, the other through completing quests and that sort of thing. So it's kind of like a return to the major and minor glyph system, except that these glyphs you can power up. You can eventually power them up for more power, more utility, and if you get it to like the max level, then you're able to create a legendary sort of essence, and this gives you an enhanced visual effect, which is, whoop-de-doo kind of cool. The intention from this is that you have so many essences that you'll be tempted or you'll want to max them all out. Now, as for whether or not these essences are going to be like account bound or anything like that, I haven't been able to find out yet. So all in all, we have these 2 major hubs that have multiple progression paths and reputations, as well as a long-tail class progression system that gives you a lot of player choice and agency. I'll be frank, this is pretty good shit so far. Actually, let me say it again, this sounds really, really good. I'm very much looking forward to getting my mitts on this content so I can give you some hands-on impressions, but let's move on to the rest, because there's still more. Flying is coming in 8.2 once you fulfill the second Pathfinder achievement, which is more than likely something along the lines of completing most of the zone content in Mechagon and Nazjatar. I would not be surprised if this means that we'll be able to fly before Season 3 starts, similar to how we could fly shortly into Patch 7.2 and the Broken Shore. But don't hold me to it, okay? Equipment for your mount is coming, which would have been more exciting if this came in like patch 6.0 rather than 8.2, but hey, you'll be able to choose one of these pieces of equipment and affix your favorite mount with things like anti-daze, water walking, or even an auto parachute. So, flying long boy, hey, here we come. The heritage armor sets for gnomes and tauren are coming in 8.2. Frankly, the gnome one looks way more inspired, but I guess there's no getting away from that classic Mulgore look. There's going to be one new arena and 2 new island adventure maps. Cool. ASHRAN is returning as an epic battleground too. Now, the last I heard, there would be 2 kinds of ASHRAN. One that is the back and forth battle between north and south that you queue up for, and an always-on battleground, so you can complete the side activities that you know and love. We'll see if that's the case later. There are more details about the Battle of STROMGARDE Heroic Warfront. One of the main things that will make this version tougher are what amounts to lose conditions. Periodically, events are going to happen that, if they're not addressed, they're going to cause you to lose the warfront. It could be anything from a massive assault to the enemy commander showing up. Keep in mind that the Heroic Warfront, at least so far, it's not going to be queuable, and you're going to have to build a group of friends or the faceless pugs on the group finder. Probably the most eye-popping piece from this presentation was the mount. I will have this mount. And I don't care if it turns out that it can't fly, I will have it. There are a few items that Jeremy didn't fit in, like the new content that's coming in War Mode, what kind of profession recipes will be available, although I presume that they're just going to be like updated ranks. But there's also Brewfest updates, new missions from the mission table, and the Stratholme Pet Battle Dungeon. So this is a ton of stuff, and I just wanted to fit it into a quick thing to give you folks a recap of what you might have missed if you missed the stream. I'm excited. This so far sounds like a really, really impressive delivery of content and systems that are meant to keep us engaged and otherwise busy for the next couple weeks, months, years, whatever. Now, of course, these are only first impressions, and there were a number of people that were handpicked by Blizzard to come down and test out the content beforehand and be able to talk about it. Next week, though, the PTR is coming. It's going to drop, and I'm going to be really busy covering this stuff, showing you what there is to have, playtesting things, and, well, just to give you my inputs and sharing it with all of you. So I hope to see you there, or otherwise, if you want to just keep track of what's going on, feel free to subscribe to the channel, or just drop a like for this video. It will help me out a lot. But yeah, it's time for me to head out. So you guys have a good one. I'll see you for the next video, and until then, stay safe, stay happy, and stay breezy.